In this video, we're going to take a look at our shotgun shooter monster. Let's open it up. We have our pawn sensing, movement, everything standard. We have AI shotgun shooter, which is default AI controller. And we have the monsters count logic, which is the same as the fire demon. Same for the AI states. Move to random location and patrol. And chase are completely the same, and same for taking damage, same for event death, except for when the shotgun shooter dies, we set inside of our first person character, we set the items to count to +1 because we have the shotgun to pick up now. Same for on C player, and if I have missed this, it's very simple. On hear noise for the pawn sensing, we move our character by AI to the location of the noise. The pickup logic. First, so on event actor begin overlap. So our mesh is set to overlap with the pawn and generate overlap events is on. So if our current health is less or equal than 0, and if ammo drop is 1, because then we will set it to 0 after we pick it up. So if it's still 1, we cast to first person character. We check if the shotgun inventory is equals to 1. So if we have the shotgun in our inventory already, then we check if our ammo in the backpack is less than 200, which is the maximum that we can carry, and then we go to get shotgun. If we don't have shotgun in the inventory, so we go to get the shotgun logic for sure. Then we set ammo drop to 0 so that we don't get to pick up the whole thing twice. And then we hide bone by name. And the mesh, the skeleton of our mesh got a grip bone. And this bone also got a physics body attached to it. And we, first of all, we hide it, and we also terminate its physics. So if we take a look at our character mesh, I think it's, yes, it's here. We're not using the default one here. I've adjusted it. So we have shotgun shooter physics asset. And here you can see that the grip bone got this physics body attached to it. And if we go to constraints, it is locked so that it looks like it's holding the gun actually. Otherwise the gun will go loose. So this bone and its physical body here will become invisible, and the bone and everything that is attached to it and its physics will be terminated. This means that if we get our monster, give him a headshot, you can see that he's holding the gun properly, and when we pick it up, well, it wasn't really obvious now. Let's try again. Well, you can see that the shotgun is not affecting the position of his hand anymore, his arm. Yes, now we will probably see it better. Not really. Okay. Yes, as you can see, it falls down. And the shooting logic, basically it's the same idea as for the fire demon. We first check the health of the monster, if it's still alive. Then we check the health of the player. We do the line trace to check if we can see the player. So it begins from the shotgun shooter, ends at our character, and if something is in between, it gets hit, and if the result is not our player, then we go to the loop. And same happens if we're falling. And there is a delay in a range, and after that the whole thing repeats. And here we set also actor's rotation, so we get the actor's location of our monster, we get the location of the main character, we do this find look at rotation, we get a rotator from that, use on the z-axis and rotate the monster to face us. Then we disable the movement so that it stops when it shoots, and we play the animation, and then we use the same thing as before, only there this was connected directly, and here it is connected to the variable separately, but it's the same thing as if we connect it like this. It's the same thing. It doesn't really matter. Only in this case, it shoots 0.2 seconds from the start of the animation. So we subtract the moving target accuracy delay from 0.2 and set our aim, which is the player character location plus a bit of randomness in that. So another accuracy. So this way we get our aim, and then this thing happens this time later. We have the shotgun shooting logic basically. So for loop happening 5 times, we can adjust that. And the start is the shotgun flash socket that we have to go to the skeleton, mannequin, character, mesh. The skeleton here is adjusted. It's a bit different from the default one, only it has additional bones for the shotgun, and we have shotgun flash socket and shotgun ammo socket. So from the flash socket we make a line trace, and here the spread is done with a rotator. So we get our aim, and we rotate this vector with a random float in range. And by the way, this is probably a more efficient way to get the spread. So if you will be adjusting the spread for our main logic for the shotguns, here this spread depends on the length of the vector. So if you make it shorter, keeping this value will make the spread more. If you make this vector longer, then the spread will go less at the same distance. So you might want to use this principle as rotate vector. So we get this vector, rotate, vector, and you make vector, or you make rotator, right, and you get random float and range, only it will be much less, of course. You connect it here, you add this here, and you add this to the end. This way you can control the spread freely from the distance, from the maximum distance. Okay, so further, apply damage, same thing as before for all the weapons. Shotgun hit affix, as we saw that previously. Spawn emitter attached, which is the muzzle flash at the shotgun flash socket. Sound and delay to spawn the shotgun shell. Also here, we need to set the animation mode to use the blueprints again. Movement mode to walking so that it start walking again. And let's see the animation blueprint and go through it. It's basically the same. Well, the blend space 2D obviously got the animations for walking, running that I made, and these are not standard animations. These are adjusted standard animations. That can be found here. And the animation blueprint is the same, wasn't adjusted. However, let's take another look at it, because I think that my previous explanations were not quite clear. So to make it, let's go to state machine. So there's entry, we have idle run, which is the blend space 2D, and depends on the speed, right? So this cycle, we go from idle or run animation here based on the condition if the character is in the air. This is checked in the, well, just to close all of this stuff. So we're setting if it is in the air. This is taken care in the event graph. Here, when our owner movement component is falling, we set this variable. Going back here. So once we are in the air, in the event graph, this is set to checked, and this condition is satisfied, and it goes to jumpstart. Then it goes to the loop in case this animation has only a fraction of a second until its end. So if it's finishing, if it's finishing, going back, then it enters this animation that is looping, right? So here you can see that animation is looping. And then we have this condition. If it's not in the air, from here it goes to jump end animation, and from jump end animation, based on the sequence, so basically yes, it is set when there is 1 second left for this animation, it goes here. So if we take a look at the animations themselves, even though they're still in the default folder for the mannequin, I actually made some adjustments, but I made these adjustments not in the editor, but here. It was easier to make this small adjustment to the animation in the editor. You can see that he's holding the gun, so, well, slightly, but that's enough, because this was the original pose. And how I did that, you can see here an additive layer track, and if we go to the beginning, you can see those keys there. So what you do is, in the beginning, for example, if you have another weapon, for example, and you want to adjust this, you delete these keys, and then here you select, for example, his thumb. You can rotate it, right? Place it the way you want, and then you just key it, and that's it. And it will stay in this position for the whole animation. And I've done this for all of the jumping animations. And the walk and run animations were done in Blender, and the shooting and so on, and those can be found here. And in our next video, we will take a look at the teleports and doors and those level blueprints, or level assets, let's say so, that are in the level folder.